Imagine looking into your partner's eyes and feeling in that exact second that they don't just want you, they trust you with their whole self. That's real intimacy. Not just chemistry, not just technique, but the quiet certainty. With you, I am safe, desired, and deeply understood. This is what the Stoics were secretly building toward long before there were positions or tips. A way of being that makes every touch feel meaningful instead of mechanical. Most people try to fix their love life by learning new tricks. They chase hacks, routines, and secret movements like they're collecting cheat codes. But the Stoic way flips that script. Instead of asking, "What else can I do to impress my partner?" it asks, "Who am I when I am with my partner?" Because the truth is harsh but simple. Technique on top of insecurity, selfishness, or emotional chaos does not create intimacy. It creates moments, then distance. If you want lasting connection, you don't start with the body, you start with the mind. Think of what follows as 5 Stoic positions, not just for your body, but for your character. You can practice them before, during, and after intimacy. These positions are presence, curiosity, reverence, responsibility, and alignment. They're not angles on a mattress, they're angles on the soul. Once you embody them, every physical position you already know transforms. Suddenly, spooning isn't just a cuddle. Missionary isn't basic. Being on top isn't just a visual thrill. Everything becomes a way to communicate. I'm here. I see you. I choose you. Start with presence. In a distracted world, undivided attention is the rarest luxury and the most erotic. Presence means that when you are with your partner, you actually arrive. Your mind isn't replaying a fight from work. Your eyes aren't wandering to a screen. Your thoughts aren't stuck on your performance. You are fully anchored in the moment, in their breathing, their reactions, their energy. The Stoics trained themselves to come back to the present because they knew the only place you can love someone is here and now. You know how it feels when someone is just going through the motions with you. Their touch is there, but their soul isn't. They seem to be somewhere inside their head, watching themselves from the outside, worried about how they look, how they're doing, what you're thinking. That tension spreads. You feel like you're with a performer, not a partner. Presence is the antidote. It says, I'm not here to judge myself or manage your opinion of me. I'm here to experience this with you. That switch alone can turn awkward encounters into something warm and real. Presence is practical. It can be as simple as this. Before you touch your partner, pause. Take one deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Look at them. Really look. And register. This human in front of me matters. During intimacy, notice their cues, the way they arch, the way their hands grab or relax, the sound of their voice. You're not racing to a finish line. You're reading a living book with every small reaction. This isn't mystical, it's just paying attention on purpose. And your partner will feel the difference instantly. From presence flows curiosity. Curiosity is the admission. I don't fully know you yet, and that excites me. Many people approach sex like a test they're supposed to pass. That makes them rigid, anxious, and fake. They pretend to be experts while secretly guessing. A Stoic approach is the opposite. It assumes your partner is a unique universe of preferences, fears, fantasies, and boundaries, and you are a lifelong student of that universe. Your goal is not to show off what you know, but to discover who they are. Curiosity means you let go of the ego that whispers, if I ask, they'll think I don't know what I'm doing. Instead, you realize the most attractive thing you can do is care enough to ask. You say things like, what felt best just now? Or, do you want slower or deeper? Or, what have you always wanted to try but never said out loud? And when they answer, you don't argue or get defensive. You adapt. Suddenly, your time together becomes a co-created experience, not a one-person performance. This mindset is especially powerful when things don't go perfectly, because they won't. Bodies are unpredictable. Arousal fluctuates. Timing misfires. Curiosity lets you laugh together, adjust, and continue. Instead of spiraling into shame if something doesn't work, you can shrug and say, okay, that wasn't it. Let's find what is. That is exactly how a Stoic handles life, by treating problems as information, not as personal verdicts. In the bedroom, this makes you bold, playful, and incredibly easy to be honest with. Next comes reverence. Reverence is treating intimacy as something sacred, even if you are not religious. It means understanding that letting someone into your body and your inner world is not casual. It is a high-risk, high-trust act. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that everything, health, time, relationships, is fragile and temporary. When you bring that awareness into intimacy, You stop treating your partner like a toy and start treating them like a treasure. Reverence starts in your mind. Instead of, "I'm entitled to this," you think, "I am privileged to be here." You see your partner's body not as something to critique or consume, but as a place you've been invited into. Your touch slows down. Your appreciation becomes more vocal and more specific. You hold them after, not as an obligation, but as a natural expression of how much you value the fact that, out of all the people in the world, they chose you for this vulnerable moment. This perspective also changes how you handle their insecurities. Maybe they're worried about their age, their shape, their scars, their experience level. Reverence doesn't dismiss or mock those fears. It doesn't say, "Don't be silly," and move on. It recognizes that their vulnerability is a gift. You honor it. You might say, "You don't have to hide anything with me," and then prove that with your consistent behavior. Over time, reverence can peel away layers of self-protection your partner has built from past hurts. Now we move to responsibility. Responsibility means you stop blaming vague forces. Men are like this, women are like that. It's just how relationships go. And start asking, what do my choices create? The Stoics believed you cannot control everything, but you are absolutely responsible for your attitude, your actions, and your effort. That applies just as much in intimacy as it does in business or battle. Responsibility begins with honesty about how you've been showing up. If your sex life feels distant, have you contributed to that distance by stonewalling, staying on your phone, or avoiding emotional conversations? If your partner seems anxious in bed, have you ever shamed them, rushed them, or mocked something they shared? If resentment lingers, have you dealt with it directly, or have you quietly hoped that physical contact would magically paper over emotional cracks? Taking responsibility is humbling, but it's also freeing. It means you have power to change things. On a practical level, responsibility looks like learning. Instead of living on rumors and myths about pleasure, you educate yourself. Instead of assuming all partners like the same thing, you pay attention to this partner. You take care of your health, your hygiene, your energy levels. You communicate when you are stressed rather than turning cold or distant and making them guess. You own your boundaries instead of crossing theirs and then saying, "I couldn't help it." You treat their trust as something you build and maintain, not something you get once and then neglect. Responsibility also means owning your desires without dumping them on your partner. You can say, "I'd really like to try this someday," without making them feel cornered or guilty if they're not ready. You can manage your expectations and impulses. That self-control doesn't make you boring. It makes you reliable. And reliability is one of the sexiest qualities there is when you're thinking long-term. Finally, we come to alignment. Alignment is when your values, your words, and your actions are not at war with each other. You don't talk about respect and then disrespect your partner behind their back. You don't talk about loyalty and then entertain harmless flirtations that you would hate to see from them. You don't preach honesty and then hide your real feelings until they explode in anger or withdrawal. The person you are in private matches the person you claim to be in public. Your partner might not be able to articulate it, but they are always scanning for alignment. Do you keep your promises? Do your patterns match your declarations? Do you act one way when you want something and another way when you've already gotten it? When alignment is strong, they can relax. They no longer have to constantly decode you or test you. That relaxation, that deep exhale of "I know who I'm with," is the foundation of real intimacy. It's hard to fully surrender your body to someone when you cannot trust their character. Alignment also means your behavior in the bedroom fits with the kind of life you say you want. If you say you want a deep, committed bond, but your actions are fueled by comparison, secrecy, and impulse, then your own nervous system won't feel at peace. You will constantly fear being exposed, replaced, or outdone. The Stoic answer is simple but demanding. Live in a way you wouldn't be terrified to see revealed. That doesn't mean sharing every thought. It means not building your private world on lies. Now, how do these 5 Stoic positions connect with the actual physical positions you might use? Think of spooning, face-to-face, woman on top, or aligned close contact positions. On their own, they're just mechanics. With presence, you turn spooning into a quiet fortress, holding your partner as if your chest is a shield against the rest of the world. With curiosity, you explore what kind of touch along their back, hips, or neck makes them melt rather than guessing once and repeating it forever. Add reverence and lying behind them becomes more than a habit. You recognize how vulnerable their back is, how tender that space between their neck and shoulder is, how much trust it takes to turn away and still feel safe. You hold them as if this moment could be the last one for a while, and you want them to carry your warmth into tomorrow. Add responsibility, and if you sense they're distracted or unsettled, you gently ask, "Are you okay? Do you want to slow down or just cuddle?" You put their well-being above your script for the night. Add alignment, and the care you show there echoes in how you treat them when you're both fully dressed and out in the world. Or think of facing each other. Eye contact in a simple position can be more intense than anything you pick from a list online. Presence turns that eye contact from awkward into grounding. Curiosity makes you notice how their face changes with each adjustment, and you use that intel. Reverence makes you grateful just to see them that close. Responsibility has you pace yourself, checking in verbally or physically. Alignment means the words you whisper about how much they mean to you, how attracted you are not empty lines, but reflections of how you act daily. Even more dynamic positions, where one partner has more obvious physical control, become tests of your Stoic stance. If you're leading the pace, Stoic responsibility stops you from overriding their signals. If you're in the more vulnerable position, Stoic presence keeps you from leaving your body mentally and dissociating. Instead, you stay tuned to what you feel and speak up if something shifts. In all cases, the positions of your body matter less than the position of your character. Here is the beautiful irony. The more you embody these Stoic positions, the more playful, experimental, and adventurous your intimacy can become. Why? Because safety and respect remove the brakes of fear and self-consciousness. When your partner knows you're present, curious, reverent, responsible, and aligned with your values, they don't have to guard themselves as tightly. They can suggest, explore, and reveal more of who they are. You're no longer just having sex, you're building a world together. So, what do you do with all of this? You don't have to overhaul your entire relationship overnight. Pick one Stoic position to practice deliberately. Maybe tonight you decide, I will be truly present. Phone away, mind here, eyes on them. Or, I'll practice curiosity and ask one honest question about what they enjoy. Or, I will treat every touch as something sacred, not rushed. Or, I will take responsibility and apologize for one pattern that's been hurting our connection. Or, I will align my behavior with the loyalty and respect I say I believe in. Real mastery of intimacy doesn't come from mastering 5 outrageous positions that only work in movie lighting and perfect bodies. It comes from mastering these 5 inner positions that work in real life with real people on ordinary nights. Anyone can learn where to place their hands. Very few are willing to train their mind and heart. The Stoics knew pleasure without character is shallow and fleeting. But when you bring strength, wisdom, and virtue into the bedroom, you create something most people never experience. A bond that is both passionately physical and quietly unbreakable. If you choose to live this way, you won't just get better at intimacy. You will become the kind of partner who is impossible to forget, not because of one wild night, but because of how consistently safe, alive, and deeply seen you made someone feel across many nights. That is Stoic mastery of intimacy. Not louder, not crazier, but deeper and truer than anything you thought possible.